Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 40, The Master is Here. Give me a punch? The vendor didn't know what the young man was up to. Indeed. Zhang Xuan nodded his head. You are trying to make a fool out of me. Seeing the serious look on the other person's face, the vendor's rage came surging out and he sent a fist towards Zhang Xuan. He had seen crazy people before, but he had never seen such a crazy person. You still want me to let you give me a punch? Why don't I beat you up to death instead? Putting all of his strength into his punch routine, the wind rustled from the force of his blow, thus exposing his level of cultivation. Fighter 3 Dangenkai Realm Primary Stage. Not bad. Smiling faintly, Zhang Xuan moved his body slightly to dodge the attack. He had already reached Fighter 5 Dan Dingli Realm Pinnacle. Naturally, the strength of a Fighter 3 Dan primary stage could not hurt him. He assumed that the young man was here just to cause trouble, so he thought that he would just be a delinquent without cultivation. However, upon seeing him dodge his attack easily, he immediately realized that the young man's cultivation was on a higher level than his. The vendor stopped as bewilderment overwhelmed him. A fellow who had at least reached the level of Fighter 3 Dan couldn't possibly be really trying to buy stuff with just 8 gold coins. If I'm not wrong, you are from Xiaoping II. The moment the vendor made a move, a book about him was compiled in the Library of Heaven's Path. Getting what he had intended for, Zhang Xuan smiled faintly. How did you know? The vendor was taken aback. Xiaoping II was one of the provincial cities around Tianqian Royal City. It wasn't a large city and there were at least 80 of such cities around the capital. The vendor was puzzled by how Zhang Xuan could pinpoint it out accurately. He couldn't resist looking down to study his appearance, but there didn't seem to be any defining traits on him that would reveal his place of origin. It doesn't matter how I know it. Zhang Xuan activated his acting cool mode. He looked at the other party once again in a calm and dignified demeanor. Half a year ago, you probably met with danger in Tianqian Forest and was bitten by a cold bamboo snake. Although you managed to escape with your life, your kidneys were damaged. If I'm not wrong. When you are doing that, it is difficult for you to showcase your masculinity. You. The vendor staggered backward. His eyes were widened so great that they were on the verge of falling to the floor. It was true that he was bitten by a cold bamboo snake in Tianqian Forest half a year ago. After which, the latter half of Zhang Xuan's words were true as well. However, other than him and the lady from the brothel, he had never talked about it with another person. How did this young man know about it? Could it be that he is a seer? Someone who is capable of divining the future? The vendor was still filled with disbelief. Why? Are my words wrong? Seeing the expression on the other party's face, Zhang Xuan knew that what was written in the Library of Heaven's Path wasn't wrong. Thus, he expressed a look of pity and said, if you find what I have said inaccurate, I can do without the medicinal herb and leave right now. However, your only chance at treating your problem will disappear as well. Sigh, you won't be able to be a man from henceforth. Don't blame me for not reminding you now. Gongzi, don't go. Hearing that the other party was capable of treating him, the vendor's body trembled in agitation as he hurriedly took a step forward. Can you really treat me? To a man, nothing was more pathetic than losing one's potency. These days, he dared not respond to the invitations of his friends, afraid that his problem would be exposed in front of them. Suffering silently, he had looked for many different physicians, but they all came to the same conclusion, that his symptoms were hard to treat and the only solution was amputation. He dared not believe that a casual buyer would point out his problem directly and even claim that he was capable of treating it. I won't force you to believe me. However, since I am able to tell what is wrong with you, naturally, I have my own ways to treat it as well. Zhang Xuan declared. Gongzi, I plead you to help treat me. As long as you can treat me. Not just that single stalk of frigid sun grass, you can take all of my herbs. The vendor lunged forward in panic, the plea in his eyes clear to see. There were too many incredible people in the world. The words of the young man were logical since he was able to see through his problem, he definitely had a way to treat it. Besides, he had no choice but to grasp onto every straw of hope that he could find. After all, this concerned his future happiness. You were bitten by the cold bamboo snake. This creature inherently possesses cold attribute. When you were bitten by it, cold energy erupted into your body, causing you to lose your physical function. Furthermore, it is unable to be dispelled by any medicinal herb, thus even quite a few apothecaries will find themselves helpless before it. However, what is bizarre about this snake is that even though its entire body is cold, its gall is warm. As long as you find another snake, kill it and consume its gall, you are able to expel the cold energy from your body completely. Your damaged kidney will gradually recover and you will be able to showcase your masculinity as a man once more. Zhang Xuan said. There were many antidotes to the poison of the cold bamboo snake, but the best antidote of all lied in its body. Its gall was the crux to counteracting its unique cold energy. This was written on one of the manuals in Hongtian Compendium Pavilion. Upon the thought of cold bamboo snakes, this information popped up into his mind. This was also precisely the reason why he only mentioned the gallbladder of the cold bamboo snake. Otherwise, with the Library of Heaven's path capability of displaying innumerable flaws, there was a multitude of remedies he could provide him, he need not specifically choose this one. Eating the snake gall of a cold bamboo snake? The vendor was still in a state of disbelief. So simple? If this was true, why did none of the many physicians he had visited say so? There should be cold bamboo snakes on sale in this commercial city. If you doubt my words, you can buy one of them and try it right now. I will only leave after we verify it. Zhang Xuan said. Medicinal herbs weren't the only things on sale in Tianyu commercial city, there were also all kinds of treasures, savage beasts and animals. Cold bamboo snake was one of the lower tier savage beasts. Although it contained lethal poison within it, it could be used in concocting medicines, so there were people selling it. Fine, wait for a moment. After hesitating for a moment, the vendor turned around and left. A short moment later, he returned with a cage, and a cold bamboo snake was coiling around in it. As a Genkai realm fighter, as long as he was prepared, killing a cold bamboo snake wasn't a difficult task. It didn't take long for the snake gall to be extracted. Without any hesitation, the vendor swallowed it directly. Soon, the vendor's eyes lit up. The vendor seemed to have already gotten an answer to whether the remedy worked or not. I thank Gongzi for your help. These frigid sun grass are all yours. With his eyes glowing with excitement, the vendor nearly knelt down in gratitude from the joy surging through him. This was a problem that had been plaguing him for a long time. In fact, there was even a period when he didn't want to live anymore. In order to treat this deficiency of his, he spent several years' worth of his savings, and never did he expect to be treated just like that. See, I didn't lie when I said that you would give them to me for free. Zhang Xuan helped himself to the generous gifts of the vendor and grabbed the box filled with frigid sun grass. Knowledge was a type of wealth as well. It was natural for Zhang Xuan to receive some compensation from the vendor after solving the illness that was plaguing him. Gongzi, I apologize for my inadequacy for not realizing your capabilities. I beg for your forgiveness. The vendor scratched his head in embarrassment. Just a moment ago, he was still declaring resolutely that if he were to give the frigid sun grasses to Zhang Xuan for free, he would call him grandpa. Never would he expect for Zhang Xuan's words to truly come to be. It's nothing. Zhang Xuan casually waved his hand to show that it was a small matter. Just as he was about to leave, a crowd of people suddenly dashed forward, their faces red from agitation. Quick, Master Mo Yang is here. One would be able to prosper through the guidance of Master Mo Yang. This is an opportunity not to be missed. This time, as long as it is a treasure that Master Mo Yang appraised, I will buy it no matter how much it costs. Indeed, I felt regretful after missing that opportunity by the previous time. The crowd discussed as they ran over. What is happening? Seeing how the crowd were agitated as though a star had arrived, Zhang Xuan was puzzled. Master Mo Yang has come. Even the eyes of the vendor were glowing with excitement. Translator note. Gongza-gentleman.